Hello, I'm John Rossi, a touring drummer with a love of all things animal. When I'm on the road, I visit as many zoos, aquariums... Hey, wait a minute. What's going on? Hey, what's going on there? Hello? 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 We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you Rossifari Zoo news. News you can use from the world of zoos and conservation. Every week, we bring you breaking news and analysis from around the globe, featuring the animals you love and the people who care for them. And here's your anchorman, John Rossi. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to Rossifari Zoo News, your look at everything going on in the world of zoos, aquariums, conservation, and general animal weirdness. So, y'all, a couple of things have been going on in my life this week, and I actually thought I would start off by kind of telling you about one of them in particular, which is I am playing a show this week and next week at Totem Pole Playhouse in Pennsylvania. It's kind of outside Gettysburg, and it is a tribute to Dolly Parton, and it's through this company called Showtime Productions, and it's such an interesting aspect of what I do, and I feel like it's something that I don't really talk a lot about, and that you guys often ask me to share about that kind of stuff a lot. So I'm going to kind of rap about that side of things for a little bit at the beginning here. So if you're only here for the animal stuff and don't care about my drumming stuff at all, skip ahead. I don't know. I haven't recorded it yet, but, probably to the 10-minute mark or so. And we'll probably be getting to animal-y type things by then. So one of the interesting things that I do is I get hired to play different shows of established music, whether it's a musical or whether it's a tribute show like what I've been doing a lot of lately, whatever. And I know you guys know that, and I know that you know that I've even written my own tribute type shows that I get to tour and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. But sometimes you just get hired for a pickup gig like this. And so this year, I'm playing a Dolly Parton tribute. The artist is Karen Hester, and she actually won Jimmy Fallon's Battle of the Cover Bands for her Dolly impersonation, and she is approved by Dolly. Dolly loves her. When Dolly had to stop doing the big country cruises a couple years ago, Karen was the person who Dolly sent out to replace her, and she does these cruises, and it's all named famous country acts and then Karen Hester, and that's really cool. So it's quite impressive to play with her, and she really does transform herself into Dolly Parton, which is really impressive. But what I wanted to tell you guys about is kind of like how it goes for me. So I get sent at some point in advance a list of songs and an order, maybe sometimes not. This time that didn't come until a few days before. And sometimes when we're really lucky, we get reference tracks. And then I'll also get sent usually guitar charts or sometimes piano charts. What I don't get sent is drum charts. So it becomes my job to listen a little bit and learn a little bit and kind of follow along on the charts. And of course, the arrangements that we do aren't always the same as are on the reference recordings. And also, they're not always the same as they are on the charts because songs evolve and arrangements evolve and shows evolve over time. And so when it's your first time playing a show, you can't really always trust the charts. So you don't fully know what you're walking into until the very first night. And oftentimes, like what happened here, the very first night was last night. And we played through each song once, and then we left, and then we came back today and opened the show to a pretty full house. And we did 2 versions of the show today. So I had played all of those songs exactly once. And I've done this kind of thing before with tributes to Elvis and Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Let's see, what other ones have I done with like one rehearsal? Neil Diamond as well. Oh, Billy Joel as well. But they're all artists that I listen to or music that I've played a lot of. I'm not a country dude. And so I heard a lot of those songs for the first time on the reference recordings and then figured out the arrangements and what they were going to be that one day of rehearsal. And then the next day we had an audience. And that's the caliber of musician that you have to be to do these shows. Some of the guys in the band have now played this show a couple of times, but some of them haven't. And we're all on that stage really hoping that we know what the heck we're doing. And Karen's up there having been doing this for years and years and years all around the world and trusting us to know what the heck we're doing. And obviously the audience needs to be able to trust us to give a great show. So yeah, it's really interesting. And over the course of the first couple of shows, we're also like, I mix my own monitor here. So I'm getting my mix dialed in and I'm learning the songs and I'm learning the arrangements and I'm reading along, but I'm reading along on charts for a different instrument that also may or may not be correct at any given time. And I'm frantically scrambling notes on them. And things change at the drop of a hat. We added music today after the first show, and we cut a song. I don't know if it's going to stay cut or not yet, but it was cut on stage twice today, so I assume so. But yeah, it's interesting, and that's like what I do for a living, and a lot of the time, and I don't know. I was sharing this story with my friend Laura and kind of explaining how that works, and she seemed to think it was really interesting. So I thought maybe it's something the audience would like to hear about. So so that's how that works sometimes. And the other interesting thing about it too is, as we were talking, Laura mentioned that if she had a performance, she might be nervous all day beforehand or whatever. And yet to me and to a lot of us, now there are performers who deal with stage fright their whole careers, but to me and to a lot of us, it's just going to work. It's clocking in and doing your job. And so I'll be walking to the drums and like having a conversation with, let's say our bass player or whatever. And, not about music, not about the show, about life, whatever. And just like, oh my goodness, yes, I like animals. Haha, yay, red pandas are cool. And then he'll pick up his bass and I'll sit down at the drums and put in my in-ear monitors. And at intermission, he'll be like, so you were saying red pandas are cool? And I'm like, yeah, they're cool. And he's like, good, like that's just that. It's just like sitting down at your computer or whatever and doing your job. And don't get me wrong, it is the best job in the entire world. I mean, it is so much fun to actively sit up there and play music. But yeah, there's no nerves. You have the same trust in your level of skill that you would have if you were a doctor or a lawyer or, any other skilled profession. But yeah, so that is what my experience is like and what I think it is for a lot of us that do those kinds of things. So I hope you found that interesting. And if not, don't worry. We're about to get to the zoo news stuff, which I think you will find interesting. So enjoy. All right. So we're going to start off with a mini headline story because I want to start building a little excitement and a little hype for this. So today's story is actually breaking news for the red panda fans in this community. I'm going to share with you 2 upcoming initiatives that we'll be announcing soon with SAFE Red Panda that y'all can be a part of and participate in and have some fun with. And these are both initiatives that I and my team have been working on together for the last couple of months, and we're really excited about them. So the first one is going to be a digital initiative happening on social media, and it is the Red Panda Sploot Off, the first ever Red Panda Sploot Off. Now, if you know red pandas, you know that they are really good at lounging around. And the technical scientific definition of the word sploot is when an animal lays adorably with all four limbs just kind of flopped off to the side and relaxed, like dangling, right? And red pandas sploot a lot. And so we decided that we are going to invite partners of the SAFE Red Panda program to post pictures and videos of their red pandas splooting. And we're going to have online voting, and whoever gets the most likes and comments and stuff will get some awards handed out. And it's going to be a completely fun digital opportunity to share red pandas being splooted and being adorable. And this will be leading up. It's going to be the full week leading up to International Red Panda Day. So this is going to be happening in a little less than a month. And I'm really excited about it, and we'll share all the things, of course, and it will be up to y'all to go and vote with your likes and your comments and all the things on who you think is the most splooted red panda. And I can't wait to start filling feeds with splooted red pandas. And then the other one of these initiatives that I wanted to tell you guys about is happening IRL. That's right, y'all. Real life, not the internet. Scary, I know. So we have come up with the idea of having SAFE Red Panda trading cards that will debut on International Red Panda Day at a few of our program partner institutions. And so what that means, we're still figuring out exactly who's going to be doing it. It's going to be pretty limited for this first release, but there are going to be a couple of different zoos that you can go to. And if you go on International Red Panda Day, you can get a trading card of one of their red pandas, and it's going to be adorable. We've been designing these and working with the teams at various zoos to make this happen. And they're all going to be like, it's a matching set, like they all have the same, border and outline and stuff, but it's going to be specific to a panda at each facility. And then if you're thinking, oh, but I can't get to all the zoos on International Red Panda Day because I don't have a private jet, that's okay. We're asking facilities to have red panda keepers keep them like near the panda habitat. So if you go to one of the participating facilities, you will be able to get your own red panda trading card from the facility when you visit. I'm going to be announcing these soon on social media. A few of the zoos are sending me their cards so I can take some pictures and really promote this well. And I am so excited about this. And hopefully, if enough people participate this year at the few facilities that are going to do it, next year we will have more facilities participating as well as these same ones. And even we're hoping that some of the same facilities will participate, but add like a second panda if they have more than one or whatever. So it's going to be a slow rollout of a program that I think will really be cool over the next couple of years. But yeah, this is your chance to get the first ever inaugural SAFE Red Panda trading cards at a couple of the local facilities that are going to have them. So what facilities are those? You'll have to check our social media to find out. I will tell you that one of them is Cincinnati, and I have seen those cards, and they're adorable. And we're really excited about this. So I hope y'all are as well. And I can't wait to hear about your quests to get your Red Panda trading cards. And that brings us, of course, to the rest of our zoo news. And we'll start off with our births and our deaths for the week. And since we're on a red panda kick, we have some red panda cubs to announce. And all of them are in places that aren't the U.S. So I will apologize in advance for my pronunciation to my international listeners. But Zoo Bojnice has announced the birth of two red panda cubs to Mom Bamboo. The cubs are doing well with their mom so far, and the zoo is using the high mortality rate of red panda cubs as a reminder to guests to be polite and to not disturb the animals in their habitat or try to get their attention in any way, which I think is really great messaging. And that's not all. Zoo Planckendael has also announced the birth of red panda twins. Both are doing well and also being taken care of by their mother, who is doing a great job raising them. And actually, the kind of, we were talking in the SAFE Red Panda meeting today about the fact that red pandas are often born as twins, but a lot of times one of the cubs doesn't make it. It's one of the reasons they're born as twins, and also one of the reasons the mortality rate is so high for cubs. But this has been a really good year where there have been a lot of twins announced, and both of them have made it over at least the early hurdles. So very, very exciting time for red panda births. And while we're talking about twins, of course, in this moment, we also love our red panda singlets. And ZooParc du Beauval has announced the birth of one cub born on July 4th. Mom is also doing a great job raising this one, so the baby hasn't been sexed or really checked out at all yet, but seems to be doing well. And this is the point where I have to pause for some humor, because this zoo is located in France, and the announcement was written in French, and Instagram has a translate feature, which is very helpful for me. And it was all very, well done, except I don't know what they were trying to say. But the very first line of the announcement, which I assume said something like big news for red pandas or great news for red pandas or something like that, the translation said, "Pink notebook for the red pandas." Pink notebook for the red pandas, indeed. Moving on from our pandas, our friends at Zoo Miami have welcomed a baby hairy-nosed wombat to the family. I had never seen a baby wombat before, and holy crap, they are cute, y'all. And see, those are the kinds of incredible educational facts I'm here to teach y'all on this podcast. But all joking aside, one of my favorite wombat facts, which you may remember from previous episodes, is that wombats have butt shields. Their butts become very thick and hard, and they function like shields, and it's really incredible. So I reached out to a recent guest, Yosani Torres, who is at Zoo Miami, to ask her about whether they have butt shields from birth, or whether those shields develop over time. And she responded by saying, and I quote, "Ah ha 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 ha, that's a good question. I don't know." So then I did some additional research, and I found out that as joeys, these marsupials do not have butt shields. Instead, said shield grows and hardens over time. So now you know, and Yosani knows, and Yosani promised me that she'll make sure she gets her hands on the little one's butt tomorrow just to confirm that, because who doesn't want to touch a baby wombat butt? The Virginia Zoo has welcomed two Prevost squirrel kits born to Mom Sigourney and Dad Kalapa. Now, this is my favorite squirrel species, and I've been obsessed with them for a long time. They're so stinking beautiful and unique, and usually very hard to photograph. But I'm so excited that I'll get to see kits when I get back to Virginia after this run of Dolly. And then speaking of that kind of area in general, Smithsonian's National Zoo in Washington, D.C. has announced the birth of two bat-eared fox kits, the first ones born at the zoo in 75 years. The kits were born back in April, but spent the first few months of life cuddled up in their den with Mom. Now, however, they have started venturing out to play and even form their adorable cuddle puddles in the eye of the public. So if you have the chance to get to Washington, D.C., now's your chance to see bat-eared fox kits. And moving on from births, we get to our deaths for the week. Cleveland Metroparks Zoo has announced the passing of both of their dingoes, Elsie and Brumby. The pair was at the zoo for 14 years, and both were humanely euthanized within a few months of each other. They both lived longer than the typical lifespan of dingoes, and the team that took care of them loved them so much. I actually got to witness a health check on Brumby a few months ago when I was visiting the zoo, and the love those keepers had for him was amazing to witness. Even as someone who sees keepers loving their animals a lot. So I don't know if the zoo will get more dingoes or go with a different species for that habitat area, but either way, these two will live on in the hearts and minds of the keepers that took care of them. Opal the opossum, a beloved ambassador at the Cincinnati Zoo, has passed away. Opal lived behind the scenes at the zoo, but often was brought out for programming, including climbing on the ambassador exercise area or sitting on her keeper's shoulder while walking through the zoo. When asked to describe Opal, the word perfect was often used by many of the keepers that knew her. And she was just one of those animals that you couldn't help but fall in love with, whether you're a keeper or just meeting her for the first time as a guest. She is greatly missed, but opossums are known for having very short lifespans, and the zoo did an incredible job making sure that her short life was a full one. And now, moving on from births and deaths, we get to the rest of our zoo news section. The Houston Zoo has announced the arrival of Rossi, a Kemp's Ridley sea turtle that had been stranded for years before moving to the Houston Zoo to finish his rehabilitation with the hope of releasing him back into the wild. The name Rossi is spelled R-H-O-S-S-I. It's not spelled like my name, but it's close enough to make me really happy. Dr. Joe Flanagan, a renowned senior veterinarian who worked at the zoo, actually came out of retirement to help with Rossi's medical examination. So far, all is looking well, and I will hope that Rossi makes it back to the ocean and gets to continue his own Rossifari. Zoo New England is celebrating the release of 2 Blandings turtle hatchlings that mean a special extra lot to the facility. You may remember we did a whole episode focused on the Blandings Turtle Head Start program at Zoo New England, and I'm just so proud of the facility for getting to announce this. The 2 turtles that I'm talking about were the first confirmed second-generation offspring from the Head Start program, meaning these are kiddos of turtles that were kiddos and head started at Zoo New England. So that's really exciting and serves honestly as proof of the long-term potential success of the program. Honestly, just so exciting. So proud of them. The Calgary Zoo recently experienced a surprising escape as a grizzly bear cub was found outside of its habitat. Fitz, the 1-year-old cub in question, was anesthetized and safely relocated back to his habitat. There was no risk to the public as this happened before the zoo opened. Interestingly, the zoo has housed grizzly bears for over 30 years in the same habitat without an issue, but it does appear that Fitz was able to climb above the containment barriers that are currently in place. So the zoo is currently figuring out next steps to ensure that that cannot happen again, while Fitz and his brother Turner hang out behind the scenes for a while where they can't, go wandering the zoo. And I'm kidding when I say that. Fitz was actually found very close to his habitat, probably just a little bit confused by what had happened. All right, so I don't normally do announcements for just like new animals or new species arriving at a facility, but sometimes we got to break those rules, and this is one of those times. Our friends at the Georgia Aquarium have reopened their River Scout section after reimagining the entire space. And from everything I've seen of it so far, it looks incredible. There's a lot of really cool, really new stuff there. But the most exciting part, by far, is that binturongs have moved into the area. That's right, the Georgia Aquarium has binturongs now. And yes, I immediately reached out to the team to see about doing an interview about them, and also to ask who to talk to about maybe joining SAFE Binturong, because yes, please, that. So we're going to connect and discuss at AZA Annual, so no promises, but fingers crossed that we're able to get some cool stuff going. 2 families experienced something really scary when they were doing the drive-through safari at West Midlands Safari Park in the UK. 2 rhinos decided to start brawling with each other, rampaging around, and the rhinos actually collided with 2 cars. Each white rhino, weighing in at 1.5 tons, smashed into the cars repeatedly, leaving the family screaming as the cars took thousands of pounds worth of damage. Fortunately, the only injury was 1 male in the car who was taken to the hospital with back pain. Interestingly, there were no park rangers around during the entire experience, leaving both families that had their cars struck by rhinos to have to continue to drive their battered vehicles throughout the park until they were able to exit and finally connect with the staff. So, it's a really crazy experience that those people had, and an important reminder to us all that even the most gentle giants can still have the tendency of wild animals. And when we are around animals, we always have to be aware of the risk associated with them. And then last but not least for the Zoo News section this week, sometimes you just gotta laugh. So we've been talking about the data center that's been proposed next to the Nashville Zoo for quite some time on here now. And it just keeps becoming a bigger and bigger story nationally, internationally, and especially in the Nashville area. And now a company called Nashville To Do has joined the conversation firmly on the side of the zoo. And how did they do so? You guessed it, by putting out AI-generated graphics opposing the data center on all of their social media. You know, the AI that uses the data centers. Yeah, you get it. You get it. Yeah. What a world. Stereotypical animal podcast theme song. Here to bring you to conservation news. A Phillip Island penguin has passed away from the H5N1 bird flu, the first death from the disease to strike the colony. This came just a few days before the penguins were due to start being vaccinated against the disease. So the plan is to vaccinate over 5,000 penguins against bird flu. But the fact that it's even reached the Phillip Island colony is really scary. And yeah, there is a vaccination for avian influenza now, but it's not always the most effective, and it's not easy to deliver, especially to animals in the wild, which is why we keep being so careful, both about wild populations and zoo and aquarium-based bird populations whenever, H5N1 is located near the facility. The Civet Project has performed an audit of TripAdvisor, something they do regularly, to see if the site is promoting or even supporting civet coffee producers. And yeah, the findings are unfortunate. There are hundreds of new tours that can be booked directly from TripAdvisor, meaning that TripAdvisor is profiting from those bookings. And these tours stop at infamous civet coffee attractions. In fact, I don't actually have the number of how many new ones there were, because the Civet Project stopped collecting data because there were too many new ones to count and process properly. The organization is now pushing to tell TripAdvisor to include animal welfare warnings on all experiences that include civet coffee. Hopefully this is a successful campaign, and I would be more than happy to raise my voice and lend it in any way possible. And I'm sure that a lot of people in the audience would as well. So I'll reach out to the Civet Project and see what they have to say. Don't forget, civet coffee is not just civets, but it's that family in general of Viverridae, including binturongs. So, while it's bad enough that it's civets, I know my listeners well enough to know that you're all going to care a little bit more if it's one of my bigs. Okay, so this story is so weird to me. It's not great. It's bad. But we're going to end with a good one after this. Don't worry. So remember a few months ago when I told you about the dude that attacked a monk seal in Hawaii and ended up getting in all kinds of trouble because of it? He threw something at a monk seal in the water. It was a whole thing. Well, now an 18-year-old in California has been charged with violating the Marine Mammal Protection Act after he walked up to a sea lion in La Jolla Cove, squared up to it like a street fighter, and kicked at it 4 times, connecting with at least 2 of his kicks. All to get a video showing him doing this. Dude faces up to 1 year in prison and a $100,000 fine. And the fact that this has happened twice now with pinnipeds is just so baffling to me. Pinnipeds are some of the sweetest, smartest, and most lovable animals I've ever spent time with. And no, I'm not saying that being charismatic should make them less likely to be abused than other animals. But also, yes, I am saying that because people are stupid and pinnipeds are sweet and nice, and that's all that matters to a lot of people. I can't even imagine how someone can look at a sea lion and think, yep, I'm going to attack that. We have some seriously messed up people out there, y'all, and stories like this break my heart, but I do think it's important that, I share them. And just a friendly reminder that the Marine Mammal Protection Act, the thing that made this action illegal, and has this kid in trouble. The Trump administration has requested a full sundowning of that law, meaning they want a date for the end of the law because they claim that there is no need to have a law like that anymore because, nobody's messing with marine mammals anymore and it's done its job. And yeah, we don't need it anymore. Not that regulation. So let this screwball be a reminder to people who think that nope, actually, we still need the Marine Mammal Protection Act. And then I promised I would do some happier news. And so to end this section, a North American river otter has been documented along the Bronx River for the first time in approximately 100 years. The sighting is evidence that decades of conservation work and habitat restoration are working, even in the heart of New York City. In unrelated news, a North American river otter has escaped from the Bronx Zoo. No, I kid. But the truth is, there are a lot of scientists and a lot of them use camera traps that are in this area of New York. And they use these to track animals there and population sizes. And, this isn't like so many of the stories that I share on here when we talk about a rediscovery of a species or a species being seen in an area for the first time in a long time. They're like remote areas and it's still great news, but sometimes there are places where there haven't even been camera traps before or something like that, or, maybe once a decade or whatever. So the fact that this is the first one seen in New York City, in the Bronx, in a place where a lot of scientific research is done, a lot of camera traps happen, and also just a huge mass of humanity lives there, all of us with little cameras in our pockets, and this hasn't been seen in 100 years. That is such exciting news. And that brings us to...
It's time for other news. It's time for other news. Hey, now, right now, it's time. It's time for other news. Hey, it's a segue to the park on other news.
All right, y'all. So I'm going to admit this one's a bit of a stretch. It's animal related in a very kind of, it's animal tangent. We'll call it that. It's tangential. But I find it fascinating and it's my podcast. So shut up and listen. No, I'm just kidding. But okay. So there's an interesting series of lawsuits happening right now. Certain companies are starting to file lawsuits to protect their trademarks because the federal government has made it clear that if you don't protect your trademarks, those trademarks might not hold up. And so the biggest case about this has nothing to do with animals. It's actually about guitars. Fender has been suing guitar makers, including many small family-owned companies, that make guitars in the shape of some of their most famous guitars, like the Fender Stratocaster and Telecaster. These guitars have been made for ages by other companies, and so much so that it's a Strat style guitar, or it has a telly body, are descriptions that are regularly used whenever talking about these guitars. And there are a bunch of other different things that the other makers do. But some companies have literally, gotten famous for their own Strat style guitars. Guitars by Leo and Paul Reed Smith are two where a lot of players really love their air quote Strats. And now these companies are getting sued. And it's now happening with Buc-ee's. And if you don't know, Buc-ee's is the greatest gasoline truck stop type place in the world. If you've never been to one, it's like the size of a large Walmart or Target, but it's a gas station. Tons of pumps, cleanest and nicest bathrooms anywhere, and holy crap, the food. They have a full-on bakery, full-on barbecue joint, places where you can get regional specialties, all kinds of different stuff. It's honestly astonishing. And then they have every kind of snack and drink imaginable. Plus they sell things like toys and dog paraphernalia and clothing and sometimes like furniture and just all kinds of random crap. It's amazing. Honestly, I've never not loved being in a Buc-ee's, especially because the logo is an adorable cartoon beaver. And I've even gotten to meet the Buc-ee's beaver at one of my stops because, yes, they sometimes have someone in a full-on costume as their mascot. It's amazing. They also pay incredibly well and take care of their staff a lot, which is really important to me. An assistant manager at a Buc-ee's is going to be making six figures. And so, yeah, that's really impressive. But now Buc-ee's is suing small businesses that have cartoon animal logos and are even remotely in any of the same industries that Buc-ee's partakes in. They just recently won a lawsuit against Choke Canyon Barbecue because of their logo of an alligator wearing a cowboy hat and licking its lips. It's not a buck-tooth beaver, y'all. It's just a very different thing. And now, okay, so a place in Ohio, they also sued. It's called Beaver's Mini Mart, and they use a logo and a similar red to that in the Buc-ee's logo. So I get it. A mini mart that has a beaver, okay, now we're getting into something that makes more sense to me, I guess. But a gator? Or a case like Teddy's Market in Georgia, which uses a teddy bear as its mascot? As the company Buc-ee's continues to grow and expand into new markets, they apparently are looking to wipe out any, the way they phrase it, confusion with their established brand before they roll into town, getting into these legal battles in the territories they want to expand into. And it just feels really icky to me. And like I said, I love Buc-ee's. When I am on the road, stopping there is the greatest thing ever. Where else can you get a brisket, a blintz, beaver nuggets, or even things that don't start with the letter B all in one place? And I do get that it's important to hold on to your trademarks and enforce them. I get it. But I don't know. Attacking any company that has like cartoony animal logo just doesn't sit well with me. Yeah, given my recent explosion of love for beavers lately, I really hope this situation gets taken care of and I don't have to stop going to Buc-ee's because I don't want to. I'm curious if any of you guys have thoughts on that topic in general, the trademark protection in general, the guitar stuff, the Buc-ee's stuff, any of it. Or if you just want to talk about how cool Buc-ee's is, in any case, with all of that, hit me up. And don't forget that you can also discuss it on our Discord. We have a Discord channel, so I'll include the link in the show notes.
Oh, animal, holidays. Animal, animal holidays. Hey!
All right, y'all. So it is officially August, which is Asian Elephant Awareness Month, National Catfish Month, National Parks Month, and August is for Antelope Month. And then for the individual days for the week, there aren't many, actually. The 21st, which is today, if you're listening when the episode dropped, is World Goat Day. And then the 26th is National Dog Day and World African Painted Dog Day, which is cool, I guess. It sucks that they have to have the same day twice, but like one of them's only national in the States and then one of them is world. So I guess that just means that the African painted dogs are more important on this particular day. But don't worry, I'm not going to tell my puppies that. And those are your animal holidays for the week. All right, so there you have it, folks. Another episode of Rossifari Zoo News is done. It's been a while since I've asked for this, but I need to be better about it. If y'all want to help support the podcast, there's the Patreon, and we'll get to that in a minute. But one thing you can do for free that really helps is to leave a rating on whatever app you listen to. 5 stars is the best, unless you're on a weird app that has like more than 5 stars, but the most is the best. And actually, if you're on an app like Apple Podcasts that allows written reviews, they make a huge difference when it comes to people finding the podcast. That is like the number one thing that matters when people search for like a zoo podcast or whatever. So if you could take the time to do that, I would really appreciate it. And then, like I said, if you do want to support financially, you can do so for as little as $3 a month by going to patreon.com/Rossifari. And I want to say thank you to my patrons, especially my Red Panda level patrons, Dr. Laura Schenk, Dr. Stephen Williamson, Barbara Bennett, Jenny Owens, Melissa Reed, Carrie Kirkpatrick, John Lewis, who is also here for stickers, Kevin Williams, and Cormac McMuffin. Meow. And then I'd like to say thank you to everyone who contributed to the episode this week. Anya Keene, Colleen Linehan, Kim Cooley-Croninger, Carrie Kirkpatrick, Kevin Williams, Emily Rockbuck, Dr. Natalie Taco, Andrew King, Justin Fairchild, Tatum Flores, Justin Williams, Taran Hanton, Dr. Laura Schenk, Melissa Reed, Ren Howell, Jacob Zinn, Holly Page, Ali Malensky, Kay Malensky, The Malenskys, Nikki Morley, Ethan Ferguson, Dr. Zoe Rossi, Barbara Bennett, Ken Tryon, Marianne Rossi, Ann Yoshioka, Kristen Dickey, Jake Cash, April Taylor, Daniel Cohen, Kelly Plowy, Rowena White, Zach Poe, Crystal Chapman, Jamie Chavez, Kristen Khalil, Maddie Pats, Jennifer Zune, Becca Robinson, Strix, Michael Sebastian, Melissa Kinney, Rick Schwartz, Sierra Bowen, Sam Evans. Thank you all so much for contributing to this week's episode. We'll be back on Tuesday with a new interview episode. And until then, remember, friends, the words Newsy credits backwards are Steiderk Yuswen. The Rossifari podcast is produced, hosted, and engineered by John Rossi. Editing and fact-checking by John and Dr. Zoe Rossi. Our theme song is Sevens by Nathan Burke, performed by Nathan and John. Interrupting John theme and additional voices by Taylor Isaac Gray. You can reach John directly on Instagram and Facebook at Rossifari or by email at rossifaripod@gmail.com. Rossifari is part of the Daydreamer Media Network. Now, stop listening to me and go visit a zoo. So instead of an outtake, because I only messed up one part of this entire episode and I cursed a lot when I did it, so I can't use it as an outtake. But I just thought I would let y'all know that I was reading through the list of names of people who contributed, and I was thinking about it as a, version of we didn't start the fire, right? And you'd have to change around the order and stuff, but like Anya Keene, Andrew King, Justin Fairchild, Tatum Flores, Justin Williams, Fran Hanton, Dr. Laura Schenk, Melissa Reed, Ren Howell, Kim Cooley-Croninger, Holly Page, Nicker Morley, Ethan Ferguson. We all contributed to Zoo News. I'm going to stop now.